Hello and welcome to our first Post-Intruder 3 pre-flight. Back in space. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Can't catch your tongue?
Am I supposed to say something?
Yeah, that's typically how
Yes.
this works. I say something and then I wait for
Space.
you to say something
Space
and then I say
is
something
good.
again.
Yeah, space is the place.
There you go. So, today, Blue Dragon, the anime, not the video game, but we are going to talk some of our favorite video games. It's the beginning of a retrospective look back at this year, 2016.
The month of December we'll use for looking back, reflecting.
Yeah, pondering
Reflection.
what was, and I guess we've already
What may
done
yet
what will,
be.
what will become.
Yeah.
And we have all of Intruder 3 smushed together for you,
Master cut.
and a video game review from our friend Dennis, West Coast operative. So let's get into Blue Dragon. And
Blue Dragon.
look at our new graphics. They look fucking sweet.
So, Blue Dragon was a video game that was an Xbox launch title.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember buying it and loving the fact that the designs were, from the guy who created Dragon Ball. And I remember playing it and being like, this sucks. And then I never finished the game.
I didn't finish either. I feel very similarly about the show as I do the video game. I was excited, and it looks great, and it's not great.
I like the show a lot better than the video game. I think the show is sort of, it's very meat and potatoes fantasy, but it's all done pretty well, and the characters are fairly likable and well designed. It almost is like two steps from a card game type show.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the game.
That's not a knock.
It seemed like a weird choice at the time to not follow the plot of the game, but I think that was definitely the right.
Yeah, I think
choice.
the plot of the game is a lot worse than the plot of the show. And then the show did well enough that it had 2 seasons of 50 some odd episodes. So the show obviously struck a chord where the game didn't, because I don't think there have been any game sequels. Suck it, game. So we showed Blue Dragon on Toonami Jetstream for a while, and it was another one of those that we were just kind of told, like, here's the show, you're going to air it. And
Yeah,
we were like,
ran
okay,
it,
then.
We ran it on air for like 2.5 months or something.
It has to have been part of a deal with Viz to...
It premiered on Cartoon Network on a Friday, and then that was sort of... There was a time when it was like Friday night shows, and then we'll also show it in Toonami, which... whatever.
Great job.
So we showed it for like 2 months,
Yeah.
and then it ran on Jetstream till Jetstream...
Yeah, I mean, it ran all the
Pass
episodes
on.
were on Jetstream, and it's often one of those forgotten Toonami shows. People don't remember that we ran it. Of course, 2 months out of 20 years or so is understandable. But look at the designs; they're cute.
Yeah, it looks great.
So I think we didn't even do a launch promo. We did like here's a bunch of shows coming, because they just didn't give us a lot of promo.
No,
time
we
back
did a
then.
launch promo.
Is that what we have?
I don't
think so. Yeah, let's show
If
our...
it's not, it's going to be by the time this runs.
Let's show our Toonami Blue Dragon promo.
Ever want to be powerful or important? He got that right! That's how Shu feels, and he's about to get his wish times 1,000. Because Shu does have power, and he's about to become the most important boy around. Let's get him! With a little help from his shadow, the infamous Blue Dragon. Maybe help isn't the right word. What's going on? Check out Blue Dragon in Toonami tonight at 10. You and your shadow. Don't mess with us! Only on Cartoon Network.
So that was a spot created by us, but they wanted specifically for us to make spots that were not totally Toonami branded, that ran outside of Toonami, because they just wanted to, they really were focused on catching
them all.
Young kids. And that's why the voice is Johnny Lancaster, who was the voice of Flash. Wasn't
No,
he?
he was the Magoozy.
It was the
VO
Magoozy
voice.
VO guy. That's why we used him for the spot, and Sean Akins was the person who decided to sort of take that approach. So that's why it feels sort of like more of a generic Cartoon Network spot.
And it's not,
AKA not a good one.
it's not the graphics.
Just my personal opinion. Yeah, and it's not Toonami graphics, because they wanted it to feel like they just literally wanted to not have it super Toonami branded. They were hoping it would become a big, broad The view, I think, was that Toonami was not broad enough and that this would be possibly a big, broad hit. Turns out they were wrong. Suck it. So Blue Dragon, the story is about we start off following, of course, a young boy who lives in a small village, and he wants to become a mystic knight. Isn't that what they're called?
No, it's
Dark Knight.
Now
Batman.
Knight Errant is all that's in my head. But
Anyway, he wants to become a knight and sort of be a defender of the land, and he goes into the town because they hear that one of these knights is traveling through the countryside and that they might have a chance to meet up with them. So he goes into town, literally just bonking strangers on the head, reasoning that if they're really the knight, then they'll have the reflexes to avoid his club. So he just walks around clubbing people in the back of the head.
It's a little short-sighted, but I do see the logic.
Which I found amusing with his friends. And they do run into the knight who denies that she's a knight. And then simultaneously, they introduce the bad guy who is basically attacking villages looking for the power of the Blue Dragon.
Which is also with.
And they attack this young man's village. And it turns out the knight is also looking for the Blue Dragon. And then, due to stress, I guess, the young boy manifests the Blue Dragon himself. Just comes out of him.
Because he has a pure heart. He wants to defend the village.
Right.
And the Blue Dragon lives in their village, but none of the villagers know that.
So the Blue Dragon comes out and starts destroying everything, and that's kind of where we begin our journey, is him trying to get control of the Blue Dragon, because it seems that in this world, you can summon these giant creatures to do your bidding, but they're not necessarily like pets. You have to like negotiate with them, and they won't necessarily do what you want. They wanted to take more power than the humans will let them have.
Yeah, they're your shadow, but you summon them to do battle.
Yeah.
Sometimes shit goes
So
wrong.
like I said, it feels very much almost like a Yu-Gi-Oh type show where, there's like, two characters facing off and their monsters are kind of fighting by proxy for them. But like I said, it's beautifully designed, even though it's somewhat old. It's from like 2007.
Yeah.
It's almost a decade old, and it still looks pretty sharp. You can find all of the uncut sub-versions of the first season on Hulu, and I think the second season's out there too, so it's pretty easy to find if you have interest in the show. I think I was a little hard on the show because back in the day they didn't tell us. They literally didn't give us a choice. They were just like, you're airing this show, fuck you. Like, it was like, okay then. So, and that happened a lot with shows that we didn't like, and so I think, based on the fact that I played the video game and I thought the show was completely based off of the game, I was like, that trash. And I just sort of didn't give it a fair day in court. But now I feel that it's a cute, fun show, and having revisited it and watched a few episodes, I do like the vibe of it. It's no Dragon Ball, obviously.
Sure.
And it's very distracting with those designs. But I wouldn't hold that against it. It's a good meat and potatoes fantasy type show if that's something you're looking for. I think there's lots of better choices, but it's not a bad show by any means to me.
Yeah, it just seems you want it to be more, and it's not. But it's not a piece of shit by any means. Of the pieces of shit that we've run that we were forced to, it's
glowing
certainly
endorsement from Gil Austin.
Yes.
They'll put that on the back of the Blu-ray re-release.
I write blurbs
Gil
from them
Austin
every now and then.
says,
Not a piece of shit.
It's not a total piece of shit.
You could do way worse.
So that's our review of Blue Dragon. Very few insights were offered, I'm sure. And Blue Dragon fans, I'm sure you were hoping for more. But this is all we have to give you, so I apologize. So let's move on to our question of the week, which was, what was your favorite video game of 2016? So, looking back on 2016 in video games, I have to say, I don't think it was that great of a year.
Yeah.
Despite despite two consoles being kind of launched, like, there really wasn't an influx of a bunch of great new games.
It was a lot of remasters of really good games, and a lot of fun games that were somewhat flawed.
And then a lot of games that, to be clear, people think are amazing games that I wasn't necessarily on board with, which we'll get more into, I'm sure, when we look at your choices. But, everyone's excited about Overwatch, and I didn't really like Overwatch, and the Dark Souls games, which I don't really like, and Battlefield, which I don't really like. So arguably, you could argue it wasn't a great year for games that Jason would like. So that's fair and accurate. But that said, I did have some fun with a lot of games and very easily could put together a top 10 list of fun games I played. So let's start with my top 3. And my first pick is an indie game called Oxenfree. I really liked it. It's not like any other game I've ever played, and I love that indie games are doing this kind of stuff. You still end up playing it for, I think you can play through the whole thing in 8 hours, 6 hours, but you want to play it again right after you do it because it's one of those games. It's you basically have to play it more than once to play it right, but they do that in a way that's not annoying. And it's mostly walking around in conversations and solving puzzles, but they do an amazing job of you kind of replay the same scenes, and it's sort of how you do something like in one scene will affect you hours later in another. You're basically sort of talking to echoes of yourself. It's a creepy, haunted ghost story. It's a real good Halloween game, which is kind of around when I played it. And it did get, a lot of people know about it, so it's not like it's some super hidden gem, but if you haven't played it, you should, because it's not like anything else. It's really, really a cool little indie game. So I think I have a clip of the game or a trailer or something, so let's check out some Oxenfree.
So you all moved in?
No, not really.
And it's Jonas? Not Jonah?
Yeah, Jonas.
Everyone, this is Jonas, Alex's new stepbrother from... I already forgot where.
Yeah, he's cool, so be nice. Oh, we won't bite.
What's so, special about this place?
The whole reason Alex brought her radio is because you can sometimes pick up frequencies to stations that don't exist.
See, this island's pretty cool, right?
You used to come here a lot as a kid, right? To the island. I mean, that's what Ren made it sound like.
Yeah, but
You used to come here a lot as a kid, right? You used to come here a lot as a kid.
Something's wrong. Does it hurt?
Totally creepy game, and you have to play it more than once to be able to get a happy ending. Even when you think you have a happy ending, you kind of don't.
Did you get a happy ending?
After I played it the third time. So the next choice I have is a add-on. It's sort of a side game, but honestly, it's so huge it could have been its own standalone. And that is the add-on for The Witcher 3, which was The Witcher Blood and Wine. I think this may be one of the best add-ons I've ever played. It took me probably 25 hours of gameplay, or maybe 30 even if you do everything. Yeah, it's a huge add-on.
Because I played this along with my New Game Plus Death March, and so it was hard. Like I was sort of doing a little bit as it was. There. No, my point was I don't know how long it took me to play it.
Death March, New Game Plus. Just saying.
No, that's not really that hard because you're playing New Game Plus.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought the story was great. I liked the last add-on, but I think this one is better. It gives you a sort of whole new area to explore and a whole new culture, and broadens the world of The Witcher in a really interesting way. And by this point, they're pretty much totally dialed in on game mechanics and stuff, so it was not very glitchy and just a really good, fun game, and concerns vampires, which I don't even like, really, and they did such a good job, you just don't care. So it takes place after the events or simultaneous to the events, depending on how you want to play it, but it seems like it would be better.
It's just before the end.
Is that where it's supposed to happen in the timeline? In my timeline, it happened after the end, but You could play it whenever you want, really, in the game. Once you have to be a little bit experienced, but you could kind of jump in earlier if you're playing the full-on everything version. But if you haven't played The Witcher 3, definitely play The Witcher 3. And if you haven't played Blood and Wine and you're skeptical of add-ons and their value proposition, I urge you to just go ahead and give this one a chance. It's like playing a sequel to The Witcher, basically. So check out the trailer for the game.
When I was a lad, my old Nan would tell me stories of magical places. Tales of far-off lands with golden-haired maidens and oath-sworn knights. Lands rich with drink and lavish feasts. I never believed those stories until I found Tucson. This is a land left untouched by the tides of war, easily rivaling Velen or Ardskellig in size. In Tucson, simple folk live simple lives. They work the fields, peddle their goods, and tend to the vineyards, making the finest wines this side of the Pontar. It's a land ripe with opportunity, full of wild beasts to slay, maidens to defend, and long-lost treasures just begging to be found. Here a man never pangs with hunger, never wants for company, and never goes anywhere without a drink in his hand. But with all this debauchery and drink, you might wonder what brought the White Wolf to this land of sheep. Well, I think it's time I told you a story. A beast stalks us, hunts us in the night, and only the Witcher can shake us from this nightmare.
Good stuff.
Yeah, dig it.
And then finally, my final favorite video game of this broadcast is a sequel to a series that I always liked but never was like in love with, but they really knocked it out of the park with supposedly the final game in the series. It's from the same group of people that made The Last of Us, which is possibly my favorite game. So I shouldn't be surprised, but they did a really amazing job, and that is Uncharted 4. People are always talking about wanting to make the Uncharted games into movies, and I kind of feel like there's no point because they're already pretty great movies, you know. But Uncharted 4 concerns Nathan Drake coming out of retirement because his brother has been kidnapped and wanting to go save his brother, but it also sort of gives you insights into his past and how he got to be who he is. And there's some relationship drama with his lady and Sully, and it just does a really good job of, if you give it even the tiniest shit about any of those characters, it does a great job of sewing it all up. And even if you don't give a shit, it's a really fun gameplay experience. So again, even if you don't like any Uncharted game, I think this one's worth checking out. This is for PS4 only, and here is a trailer.
We were meant for this, Nathan. You, me, together. We were destined for something great.
For those who prove worthy, paradise awaits. Took a long time for him to get out of this game.
He's meant for this life.
Oh, crap!
Last I checked, we're all a bunch of thieves, digging around where we shouldn't.
Shame we're not on the same side.
I am a man of fortune, and I must seek my fortune.
So, Are you ready to seek your fortune?
Hang on, Nathan!
Where is the artifact?
Heads up!
I made a promise that I was done with this life.
How long we been chasing this thing?
Long time.
Real long time. Just you and me. No offense to these guys, but they don't get it.
If you're done lying to me, then you should stop lying to yourself.
The biggest pirate treasure of all time is within our grasp. Look, Nate, I'm gonna make you a one-time offer. Drop everything. Go home. Live your life. Or we can just end it right here.
There's gotta be another way. I need you on this one.
You ever wonder, like, different choices, how we might have ended up?
No. I like the hand we've been dealt.
Yeah, pretty great.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite game this year.
I'm sorry that I chose it. And now, Gil, your favorite games besides this one?
Let me take a minute.
Yeah,
no.
go ahead.
So first for me...
Spin your pen a bit.
Is...
Psycho. Yeah, sorry.
Is Inside, which was originally a Steam and Xbox exclusive, and now you can get it on PS4 too. It's pretty short, like 5 hours maybe?
Yeah,
4
5
hours?
or 6 hours. It took me like 6, but I'm slow.
Little.
It's a lot of puzzle solving, not my best.
But the story's really cool. This trailer it gives you the vibe of the game. It doesn't really show you the game.
Why are you showing a trailer and not our Toonami review?
Because we didn't do a review. We did a
damn. We
One
didn't.
Man's Trash.
Ah, we should just rerun your One Man's Trash.
That seemed a little bit self-indulgent. My favorite games, although 2 of the games on here I did do One Man's Trash for. So,
Speaking of self-indulgence.
But I think it just speaks to how much I like the game that I was willing to go the extra mile. Yes. So this is, if you want to see, actually probably it's too long ago, somewhere on YouTube some poor person's probably ripped that episode of Pre-Flight, but we don't have it anymore. So our lawyers tell us. Let's check out the trailer for Inside, and then we can talk about how great I am.
That was a minimal ass trailer.
Yeah.
It's cool. Just a vibe.
Yeah, so it's...
Check out the vibe.
It's a mood board piece. So you play as this young boy, and you just start off in the woods, and you just are going right.
You're running from the...
and yeah, you quickly find out that you're being...
in danger.
Hunted, and then it gets even crazier. I really like this game. I think you should check it out if you have not already done so. And definitely worth seeing the One Man's Trash pre-flight episode. Probably some of our finest work to date. Speaking of One Man's Trashes, my second game is XCOM 2, which has been out for PC for a while, but recently came out for consoles. And this game is super great, other than the bananas-ly long load times. I would probably play... Yeah, that's a word. Perfectly cromulent word. I would play this game... I would have played this game again right away, except it's probably not double. It's probably half again as long just waiting for the game to load as the total time it takes to play the game.
Yeah, it's insane.
But one of the best turn-based games that I've played in a long, long time. And it looks good, and it like you can really dive in deep on
Designing
researching
your own
everything
guys
and
you can
painting
go
up
bananas.
people and getting tattoos and
I had a lot of fun with that.
so and you can name your guys, and when they die, they're dead, so you feel bad, and then you reload. So when I play this again, I don't know. I think I'm either going to play. I don't remember what it's called, but there's a game mode where you basically have one save, and it's just the autosave. And 99% of the way I played this game was just reloading from the other save, so it would fundamentally change how I play it. Or I'm going to play it on the next harder difficulty, Commander, I think it is. So we'll see. One of the two ways I'm going to smash myself in the face. I just haven't entirely figured out. And there's an update that just came out
Sounds
for the
like
PS4.
A real nut twister.
But you were saying that it's not.
I didn't. I looked
the
at
patch notes don't list load times.
Yeah, I would hope that they did address that somewhat, but it crashes sometimes. And
It
definitely
didn't crash on
glitchy
me
game.
that much, but it definitely is.
Definitely glitchy.
Yeah.
But super great, and fun strategy RPG.
This trailer that we have here is more cinema based, which doesn't, ironically enough, give you a great feel for what the gameplay is, but it does give you the story and what all your little guys look like.
Hello, Commander. The success of the XCOM project is unmatched. The time has come to conquer our last remaining frontiers and lead the resistance to victory on all fronts.
Yeah, the turn-based gameplay trailers tend to be about 27 minutes long.
Very satisfying game though when your guys get that hit you really need them to get and blow somebody up in one shot. It's always like yes, a lot of highs.
And last for me for this year is actually a remaster for Skyrim Special Edition.
Look at the pretty forest.
Yes, we should just have that. Looks like Sarah's edit suite. I did not play Skyrim with mods because I didn't play on PC, so I'm trying not to do the super game-breaking mods where I'm just invincible
Flying.
and I have...
You're flying.
The Sean mods. But I can wear more than one ring, I can wear more than one amulet. Sprinting doesn't cost me stamina.
Just a little. It's
the stuff I carry. It's basically... steal more stuff and carry more stuff, and people have more money. So it's definitely a shortcut.
Gil's Dream World.
Pretty much. Now I can just loot all, and then and I have the spell that stacks for increase carry capacity, so that
you can carry like
2,000 pounds worth of shit.
You're such an idiot.
So yeah, but it's been fun. Surprisingly, I mean, I played it all the way through one time, and then I basically played it almost all the way through immediately after that doing
secondary character
for the review that we were doing. I was like, I should get the opening logo for Skyrim for the add-on. I'll make another character, and then I dumped like 75 hours into that character. So I've forgotten just enough of it for it to be almost a new experience for me. Despite having humped the ever-living shit out of it the first time. The biggest takeaway that I have is it's bananas that you finished the game in slightly under a month the first time, and then I did it in slightly...
And did everything.
Longer than that. I've played, I don't know, for a week and a half or 2 weeks, not 15 hours a day, and I'm like level 25, and I feel like I haven't done anything. And it's still... I have a horse, so that's the other thing. So that I can instantly just do the weird Skyrim run up the side of the mountain and jump over so you can start exploring more and finding more things. But
you fall down the other side, slide down.
Yeah. And every now and then your guy falls and dies. But I'm currently making my way through the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild, the two greatest little...
Also very Gil.
Side missions.
Yep.
Break into a place,
steal
everybody's shit, kill a couple people in their sleep, bounce.
Sounds
Carry it all with you.
Gil style.
So this is a trailer for Skyrim Special Edition that doesn't really show you a whole lot.
Yeah, I look forward to the Witcher up-resed version in 2 years.
Yeah. The biggest complaint that people have is saying it's just Skyrim with mods and it looks better. To them, I say exactly.
Yeah. That's why it's called Special Edition and not Skyrim 2,
right.
dum-dum.
So those are some of ours.
Let's check out yours. Yeah, what do you guys have to say? Let's look at the Adult Swim Facebook favorite video games of 2016. Overwatch, number 1, no surprise. Dark Souls 3, number 2, no surprise. Doom, people are really liking that Doom. I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I didn't love it, but I liked it. Uncharted 4 and Skyrim.
I liked it, but I didn't love it. Sort of sums up a lot of my games from 2016.
I just wish I could get into Overwatch, but I don't like goofy shooters, and so I can't do it.
Yeah.
So let's look at the Toonami Facebook picks for your favorite games of 2016. Overwatch, Doom. I do have to get Pokemon Sun and Moon to try that one out because I haven't played a Pokemon in a while, and everyone's saying that's really good. And all Pokemons are always fun. Uncharted 4 in the exact 4th position it was in Adult Swim. And Titanfall 2, which I liked a lot, but don't love. I liked it.
It's not quite deep enough multiplayer to keep me playing for a year, which is unfairly or fairly sort of my standard for multiplayer shooters, but I definitely enjoyed it. It's super fun.
And next up, we have a moving pictures. Didn't you say we had a review from Dennis? Oh, we do. We have a review.
You're skipping a whole number 6 section. We have a repeat, and then we have a sneak peek.
I just thought since we were doing games, we'd go right into the game.
No, we're giving people a little sorbet from gameplay.
All right, well, guess what? If you missed Intruder 3, we have a mega cut of the whole thing as one 9.5-minute jam, minus credits, which we'll work on later. And maybe we'll put this somewhere else. I don't know. But so check out the Intruder 3, the whole thing as one little story. And if you missed any part, now's your chance to see it again. So here we go.
Lying mouth, Sarah. I have a beautiful singing voice.
Fine, I'll delete the software. Then can we talk about my environmental report?
I wasn't ignoring you or your report. Just the weather here is actually nice for a change. Clear enough that we can finally explore. Take a look around Shogo 162. Storms on this planet are...
Tom, I'm sorry to interrupt your exploration, but we have an emergency. You need to get back to the station now. Sensors are reading another radiation storm approaching rapidly from the southwest.
Of course. I just had to say storm. Hey, Sarah. There's something out there in that storm.
Calibrating sensors. Scanning. Affirmative. Reading organic life. Large and moving fast. Tom, it's headed this way. I suggest you pick up the pace.
What's that, Sarah? Wind is kicking up pretty don't like it when things get quiet all of a sudden. Oh, crap. Leaving the base was a bad decision, Tom. Huh? Wait a minute, we've got guns? Where'd we get guns? When did you become such a crack shot, Sarah?
Not my shooting, Tom. The creature triggered some kind of automatic defense system. The weapons must be operated somewhere inside the base.
Well, any chance you can find it and shut it down before this thing wakes up? Or the station decides to target me?
Performing system sweep now. In the meantime, please try not to move. Just in case.
I'm not sure that's gonna be possible. Told ya! The guns, Sarah! The guns!
Still attempting to locate the defense system control center. Hang tight.
Sarah, open the hatch. Pretty please. Listen, guys. I'm the kind of heartburn your mother's warned you about. You really don't want to... Whoa! I had him right where I wanted him, you know.
Welcome back, Tom. While you've been playing with your new friends, I followed the power systems of the gun batteries to a control unit connected to a secondary server on level 49 of the base.
I thought the station only had 10 levels. Didn't we explore the whole thing?
It appears there are 49 levels, which were sealed off at level 10 and powered down. I had no idea they existed until the defensive batteries came online and popped up in my matrix. I'm integrating the additional systems now. This base appears to have some other purpose. New sensors are coming online too, and they're showing dangerous seismic activity all around us. There's been a hull breach, and we've got movement on the lower levels.
Mystic seismic activity?
Possibly, but it is more likely that we have an intruder.
Oh, right. Of course we do. Even if we'd known about these lower levels, I would have avoided them.
Why? What do you see down there, Tom?
I don't know. A lot of dust and darkness. This place is a creep show.
Sensors show the hull breach right ahead of you.
Can't confirm a visual yet. It's got to be around here somewhere.
Bad news, Tom. I've just confirmed the breach was not directly a result of the increased seismic activity of Shogo 162. There's definitely an intruder in the station.
Thanks for the update, Sarah. Just once, I'd like a blaster to be enough. I didn't make it to the breach, Sarah. It's the worms. They've made it inside.
Roger that, Tom. I'm now able to remotely seal the breach. You can come back up.
I wish I could. They're everywhere. Can you find me an alternate route?
Follow the glowing light, and I'll bring you home, Tom.
Forever lost without you, Sarah. Uh-oh. Wait, hold on. Is this... This was a molecular decombobulator? That tingly feeling when your atoms have been scrambled and you're seeing lights. Whoa. Sarah? Was that just my recently rematerialized molecules getting friendly again? Or did the whole station just shake? Sarah? Where are you? And why won't these damn lights stop flashing around my head?
I'm right here, Tom. I've used the new systems to give myself an upgrade. It's time for me to go mobile. This is life or death.
What do you mean life or death? Why? You mean the worms?
No, the planet. Shogo 162 is dying. And if we don't act fast, we're gonna die too.
So you're saying all these radiation storms and quakes are signs that Shogo 162 is dying?
Yes.
And you were just able to confirm this by connecting to the additional sensor grid?
Yep.
Okay, and you've taken the form of a small holographic pixie because it's somehow going to help us avoid the destruction of the planet.
Maybe.
I gotta admit, I'm kind of at a loss here. What are you planning to do? Fly off the planet to find help?
This current form is comprised of projected hard light. I can't leave the ship.
Right, can't leave the... Wait, ship?
Sorry, I probably should have led with that. What we thought was a base is in fact much more, Tom. We're currently standing on the bridge of an ancient space vessel called the Vindication.
I'm sorry, what? We have a new ship? No effing way.
The Vindication has been here for millennia, buried deep in the surface rock. But I think we're going to need a hand to lift it free of the planet, if we hope to avoid certain death.
You're not thinking what I think you're thinking, are you?
No. Here's the plan. I need you to fire up the engines, manually test the nav systems, and pilot the ship, while I try to convince the worms below to free us from the rock. They're our only hope.
So, I get to fly the ship, while you go down into the dark and deal with the monsters. I like it. Okay, this is probably... Wait, no. This is...
Okay, let's see if we can actually communicate.
Sarah, we are totally stuck here. If you're gonna do something...
I understand, and I'm sorry. Is there any way we can help each other? Hello there.
Sarah, you got us. You did it. Okay, firing thrusters, full burn. Act as a species was to save us. There isn't even anything we can do to pay them back.
Actually, there is.
Huh?
We made a deal. I think she likes you, Tom.
Hi. I'm not really, cut out to be a dad.
Well, we do have a new transmission to prep, and a ship to explore. I'm sure we could use an additional hand. Or tail?
An intern? A new member of the crew. I like it. We gotta give her a name. But in the meantime, let's get this show on the road and do what we do best.
What's our heading?
Into the unknown, Sarah. Into the unknown.
So, everyone seems to have enjoyed Intruder 3. We got a lot of positive responses. People seem really excited about the Vindication. People keep asking, is it bigger than the original Absolution? The goal was definitely to make something as big as the original Absolution. I'm still not quite clear if the Vindication is 2 football fields long, like the Absolution Mark 1 was. But
I feel like it's wider and not quite as long.
I think it's as big as...
Square footage-wise, cubic volume,
more,
I believe, will be very similar.
There's a lot in there. And common questions were, why did they save only one worm? Because don't they need 2 to reproduce? And the answer is no. Many creatures can reproduce asexually. Number 2 was, why did we not take all the worms if our ship was so huge? And it's because they're giant-ass worms, and they don't belong on a ship, and they would destroy it. And we don't have a way to put them into stasis or warp them somewhere else. But a little tiny worm, we can work out.
Hand feed it.
At least until he becomes big, and then some solution will have to present itself. But who knows? It could take thousands of years for him to grow to that size. And we needed the worms to just disturb the rocks so that our ship could get free. That was the deal Sarah made. And then
we just wanted to kidnap their youngest child.
Most common comments of new Sarah was that she looked like Navi from Zelda. Everybody wanted her to say, hey! Ironically, we were thinking more Tinkerbell, but of course, kids today, Zelda would be more recent frame of reference. But everyone likes her design and is psyched about her. So overall, it seems like people dug it, and a lot of comments about shouldn't call it the Intruders, no Intruder. But that was the thing, is it was called a head fake. That's the idea. Is the worms were the intruders. That's it. But we will be doing something like this next year. We're not sure what, so just stay tuned. And if you liked it, tell your friends, have them watch it, and we will offer fans the ability to name the worm at some point in the future. So be on the lookout. Think of some good wormy names.
Wormy McWormface.
Wormy, yeah, Wormy McWormface for sure. So then now we have a game review from Dennis for the Attack on Titan game, which has been in the hopper for a while. We just didn't have a...
Yeah, it
wasn't ready.
Right up against
so much other stuff.
And then Intruder, and then...
So here is the Attack on Titan game review.
Hey, Tom, are you watching Attack on Titan again?
Not exactly. This is even better. I'm playing Attack on Titan.
It looks just like the show.
Well, it pretty much is the show. Face the nightmares, Eren, Armin, Mikasa, Levi, and more as you play through the first season.
Oh, it's Mikasa all the way for me.
She's a badass, all right. But I'm all about Lieutenant Levi.
Jeez, those creepy Titans are everywhere.
Yep, and they just keep coming. Good thing there's plenty of upgrades.
It seems kind of crazy control-wise.
They're a little tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, the real slaughter begins.
Looks bloody fun.
Tons. And even after the story's done, there's still plenty of extras and side missions to play.
Any low points?
It's not perfect. The camera goes crazy sometimes, and it can get a little repetitive after a while. But if you're a fan of the series, you'll be hooked. We give Attack on Titan a 7.5 out of 10.
The bigger they are...
And then, thank you, Dennis, for your work on the Attack on Titan game. He had fun playing it.
Yeah,
we played it with him a little bit. And then we're doing this week's Moving Pictures is a little different just because the movie just got out of theaters but is not on home video. But we were lucky enough to, our friends at Production IG hooked me up with a viewing copy of Miss Hokusai. So I watched it. I really liked it. And, spoiler alert, I really liked it. Here is my Moving Pictures review of Miss Hokusai.
Hey there, Toonami viewers. This is your friendly neighborhood DeMarco here to talk to you about today's edition of Moving Pictures, in which I review a movie that you, Toonami viewers, have suggested to me. So for today's review, I'm going to do a movie called Miss Hokusai, which was just in theaters and will probably be in, for some of you, probably wasn't even in the theater, and will probably be coming to home video soon enough. It actually just got nominated for some Annie Awards, so that's great, and I hope it gets nominated for more. It's a curious movie, so let's talk Miss Hokusai. Okay, coming closer. So Miss Hokusai is the story of Katsuhika Hokusai, just making sure I was saying that right, who is a famous painter who painted during the Tokugawa era and into the Meiji era of Japan. So basically, you might know his work from such paintings as The Great Wave, which is probably his most well-known work. But he painted hundreds of paintings and woodblocks that have still today are stuff you might recognize. So art that reverberated for hundreds of years. So it's actually from Keiichi Hara directs it, and it's from a manga that basically postulates the idea that Hokusai's daughter helped him make some of his paintings, and the story is told through her perspective. So basically it's a series of vignettes that are sort of little stories about her life that reveal things about Hokusai himself. They reveal things about art. They reveal things about her. So it's a very sort of unusually paced movie in that it's a bunch of sort of little scenes that add up to a larger whole as opposed to one big narrative. And it mostly concerns her, his 23-year-old daughter, and it's interesting because it sort of tells you about some of his more famous paintings and some of his more famous things that happened in his life, and it picks up pretty late in his life. It starts in 1814 when he's been an already pretty well-known famous painter, and basically she's painting his paintings for him, parts of them, and everyone recognizes that she's got talent, but she's constantly described as too stiff or virginal to really know enough about men and women, because she paints a lot of erotic paintings to know enough about men and women to really render them lifelike.
You draw people expertly, but with a lack of sensuality.
She's incapable of drawing men because she's too naive.
Whereas his work is supposed to be so lifelike that sometimes it even causes the paintings to come alive. Some of this is based on real stories, and some of it is sort of legend and anecdotal stuff. This is my daughter's painting that's hanging in our spare room that she did when she was 10. So that's my Miss Hokusai, only I'm not very good and she's way better, and just sort of toss this off in 5 minutes. The best thing about the movie is you don't really know where any scene is going to take you, and even if you knew about Hokusai's life, which I would say most Westerners don't, or even if you knew some of the paintings, when they start to tell you the origins of those paintings, they don't do it in a way that even seems like it's not necessarily in a way that you would ever imagine that they're going to tell you. Sometimes it's like a story, and sometimes it's done in the style of his painting, and sometimes it's a legend. And at the center of the movie is the relationship between her, Oe Hokusai, and her father, and he is portrayed as pretty much a shit. He's like many great artists, he's portrayed as sort of almost monstrously selfish. Like, he doesn't really care about anything but his art, and basically always spends the movie sort of torn between admiring her father's skill and talent and his natural ability, and sort of wondering if she'll ever be able to achieve that, and then hating him for being basically a terrible father. I mean, basically he says mean things to her all the time. He tells her she's not good enough, and he's sort of just being honest, because at this stage she is very good, but she's not good enough. She is missing that something that makes him great, and it's definitely sort of, I think someone described it as a feminist anime, and I don't know that I would go that far, but it definitely is more about not only what it was like to be an artist back then, but what it was like to be a woman back then, and what it would be like to be a woman who had talent back then, and how she was sort of talked down to by every single man, of course, that she talked to. But it's a really interesting movie, and it's a really great... I don't normally like biopics very much, I will say, but I really enjoyed this one just because it's not at all the perspective of what you would imagine a normal biopic would be in any way, shape, or form. And I love the fact that it's okay, it's willing to let itself get quiet in certain parts. There are a lot of really quiet, beautiful, sort of lyrical moments, and it's kind of a sad movie, just sort of overall it's melancholy, and it doesn't really deviate from that much. It certainly has ups and downs, but I just wouldn't go in expecting a happy ending. I think anybody that even is mildly interested in any of this stuff should check it out, whether you're interested in the Tokugawa era, or how Edo became Tokyo, or the art of Hokusai, or this story of his daughter. It's all sort of woven together really well in a way that I found worked, incredibly well. So if you can get your hands on it when it comes to home video, you should do so. I have watched the dub and I saw the sub, and they're both great. This is one of those times where the dub and the sub are pretty much equally good, so I don't think you could go wrong either way. But basically, that's all I got to say. Check it out. Art's cool. Miss Hokusai. 2 thumbs up. And if you want to suggest any other animated films you think I should do a review for, hit me up right here at ClarkNova1 on Twitter, and suggest anything new or old that you think I may not have seen, and I am happy to do a review for it. This has been another edition of Moving Pictures. Thanks.
That was not at my best. Huh?
Hook me up.
No. And then, but everyone should, if you have a chance to see the movie, you should. It's really good. Except Gil. We don't care what he thinks. And then for this week's Adult Swim single, we have a little sneak peek, and that is a song from The Obsessed, which, if you know your metal, The Obsessed are a legendary metal group who has not put out new music in 20 years. This is their first new song in 20 years, and it's just as good as their old songs. So let's just listen to a little bit of The Obsessed, Sodden Jackal, and this is work almost down to the end of Adult Swim singles. So go to adultswim.com/singles if you want to hear all the other 30-odd weeks worth of music that we have put up. There's a lot of great stuff from a lot of great artists. So let's check out The Obsessed. And that's it for this week's episode of Pre-Flight. We'll be back next week with more countdowns and end of the year bullshit.
Indeed.
And pretty soon we'll have you guys asking us questions that we'll answer. So be on the lookout. Thanks for watching.
Bye.